From what I understand, there were no American deaths in the rescue operation. You're
Yeah,
saying there could have been deaths with the.
That's you're being lied to, Mario. You're being lied to. Look, a C-130, and just as a side note, I was hired by Hollywood to be a consultant on the first A-Team movie, and the script writer in it had the A-Team rush the cockpit of a C-130 and strap themselves to the pilot seat and hit the ejection button. And I had to tell him, I said, boy, that's really creative writing, except there's only one problem. You don't have ejection seats in a C-130. It's a hard shell aircraft. So when that thing exploded and crashed into the ground, and the video on that's not AI generated, none of the crew got out. So there were deaths. The Pentagon is lying. They're covering it up.
But from what I understand, the C-130 was blown up by the U.S. forces in the rescue operation to ensure enemy forces don't take control of it.
That's the story the Pentagon's putting out. That's what you keep getting fed, frankly, all this bullshit from the Pentagon. They're liars. They lied about the KC-135 that went down some weeks ago. They claimed that it had crashed midair. It got taken out by a missile.
You're talking about the two KC-130, the shadow tankers that collided, but they also didn't lie about the casualties there. They said all pilots. They didn't lie that nothing got destroyed. That one they didn't lie. They had a convenient excuse for how they came up with a lie to explain how it came down. Oh, this was just an accident. These guys didn't die in combat. It was an accident. It was a sad accident. But to admit that the C-130 went down, and because when it goes down and crashes, nobody gets out, and therefore that wasn't a collision, midair collision. They couldn't present it as such. They had a lot of aircraft, and that was just for one pilot. Look, with this this is a reminder of we're now technologically at a stage where you really no longer need pilots in aircraft over combat zones. It's an anachronism, because they're going to get shot down. And then if you're going to try to rescue them, you're going to put a lot more lives at risk. A drone goes down. Hey, the drone goes down. There's no person to recover. And they can actually, a lot of these combat aircraft can be configured so that they can be flown remotely. You don't need a pilot in it. They can be flown remotely. But that said, the Pentagon's putting out the spin. Oh, it was great. We lost a few aircraft, but we destroyed those on the ground. I mean, good God. Please. The lies they're telling are off the charts, because again, we were just told, hey, we obliterated all the air defense. There's nothing left in Iran. Iran can't shoot us down. And then yesterday, the number of aircraft that were lost were, at least, in addition to the one F-15, you had at least one A-10, two Pave Hawk helicopters that are, sort of souped up versions of the Black Hawk, and at least two C-130s. Okay, so you lose 5 more aircraft to rescue the pilot from one. Yeah, that's a great success. Now, I mean, you don't deny the balls on the guys that went in there that are, the PJs and the pilots. And you had a lot of Task Force 160 pilots doing their thing yesterday, and they are exceptionally talented. But you're fighting a war where you're basically have declared war on civilians, and that's what these guys, with all the good work that they did, that's what they're tacitly supporting. They're supporting a war crime. So why do you think it's not likely they destroyed the aircraft on the ground, the C-130 on the ground? So they did a makeshift landing strip for the rescue operation. I'm not an expert, so why wouldn't they destroy it if, let's say, they couldn't evacuate it or was damaged?
Okay, explain to me how they made a makeshift landing strip.
I'm not, as I said, I'm not the expert. So
yeah, they didn't make a makeshift landing strip. The C-130s are designed that they can land in difficult terrain and take off. But look, the video, I can share the video with you of of this fireball coming down. It wasn't a missile. It was an aircraft that was on fire and crashed. And why we know it's a C-130? Because the C-130s also carry an extra load of fuel that they can be used to do aerial refueling of these helicopters, the Pavehawks. Why the Pentagon's saying that, they don't want to admit that the plane got shot down. Because if they admit that the plane gets shot down, that's contradicting the commander-in-chief, Donald Bone Spurs Trump, who insisted that there is no more air. You don't have any more air defense in Iran, so we're free to fly wherever we want. And yet, Friday showed that that's just not true. It's a damn lie.